Jai Gurudev, very sorry I kept you all waiting. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. So yesterday we did all the list. We'll start with the introduction to Sadhana Panchakam. Sadhana Panchakam is composed by Adi Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya wrote commentaries on Gita, Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, and has written many texts, hymns, expounding on the teachings of Vedanta. In Sadhana Panchakam, sadhana means practice. Sadhana is either means or practice. Panchakam, set of 5 verses. Shankara provided 40 steps as a means or practice to achieve the end goal of moksha. In these 5 verses, Shankara unfolds the entire teaching of Vedanta. There are 5 verses in Sadhana Panchakam, each verse having 4 lines and 2 steps in each line, making it altogether 40 steps. Each step is like steps in a ladder, taking us progressively to attain the goal of moksha. This set of 5 verses provides the means for the end goal of moksha. Vedo nityamadhiyatam taduditam karma swanushtiyatam teneshasya vidhiyatam upachitihi apachitihi kamye matistyabhyatam papaugha paridhuyatam bhavasukhe doshonusandhiyatam atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagriha turnam vinirgamyatam. So the step 1 is studying the Vedas daily. What are Vedas? The word Veda is derived from the Sanskrit root vid, which means to know, and is generally translated as the treasure of knowledge or the source or means of knowledge. Hindu culture is essentially a Vedic culture called Vaidika Samskriti, since it is based on the authority of the Vedas. The Vedas are technically termed Shruti and are revealed knowledge. That they are revealed is an important point. They are not the composition of a human being, arrived at through intellectual and logical reasoning based on sense perception. So these are not the composition of a human being, arrived at through intellectual and logical reasoning based on sense perception. For this reason, the Vedas are said to be apaurusheya, not of human origin, and are considered revelations. So the Vedas are just revelations, and they're not arrived at through intellectual or logical reasoning based on sense perception. So they're not composed by any human being. The scriptures say the Vedas are the breath of God. Just as our breath emanates naturally and effortlessly from us as long as we are alive, the Vedas are considered to be the very breath of the Lord Himself. This knowledge or Veda was revealed by the Lord to those great rishis who had purified, tuned, and made their minds single pointed through meditation. What do Vedas teach? The subject matter of the Vedas is classified into three parts: Karma Kanda, which is the ritualistic portion, Upasana Kanda, worship portion, and Jnana Kanda, knowledge portion. Vedas point out that the purpose of human life is to realize and to know the absolute truth, the absolute reality, and not just to live superficially in the world of appearance. In order to follow this truth, the mind in order to follow this truth, the mind must be prepared and purified. And so the first portion of the Vedas, the Karma Kanda, is meant for acquiring this purity of mind. What does reading, studying Vedas daily mean? When we act and respond in this world to different situations and experiences, our actions and responses tend not to be objective. They are often prejudiced, colored, and conditioned by our personal likes and dislikes, which are expressions of our vasanas, subtle impressions and inherent tendencies gathered in innumerable lifetimes. When we act prompted by our vasanas rather than guided by the knowledge of what is right and wrong, we strengthen these likes and dislikes which constitute the impurities of the mind. The Vedas provide guidelines of how to conduct ourselves in daily life. Life is all about making choices. When we are ignorant about the goal of life, we end up making inappropriate choices, or in other words, violate dharma. Studying of Vedas provides us with the goal of life and means of achieving that goal. By studying the knowledge revealed in the Vedas, we can clarify our goal in life, follow the means to purify our mind, and achieve the goal.
Can we read this again, Dr. Pramod?
Yes. You want me to read the whole thing again?
No,
What are Vedas we've seen? No, they are
this
from
part
the root with, right?
Go ahead. The Vedas are revelations of the rishis.
Correct. Revelations of the
Not,
rishis, and Vedas are considered the breath of the divine.
Divine, yeah.
Right? So they are not written down. They are only revelations that have been codified now. Now the scriptures say that, so these rishis are they who have been purified and have tuned, and their minds were single pointed through meditation, they were revealed.
Right.
What do the Vedas teach? There are three portions: Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, and Jnana Kanda. Now, they point out what do the Vedas indicate and what do they reveal. They indicate the purpose of human life is to realize and know the absolute truth, the absolute reality, and not just superficially, and not just to live superficially in the world of appearances. So, the first portion of the Vedas teaches the Karma Kanda, which is meant for acquiring this purity of mind. See, when you plan for a puja, or you're doing your puja, there's so much of discipline, commitment involved in doing that. First take a bath, clean up the place, arrange everything. So you're kind of one-pointed, all your activities are directed towards that little ritual. So rather than get caught up in likes and dislikes, there you are directing your energies and your activities towards that one goal. So that way, when you're doing it day by day, it adds to discipline, and therefore it creates that purity of mind. Like Nitya Karma. Take Nitya Karma, for example. Now, what does reading, studying Vedas daily mean? When we act and respond in this world to different situations and experiences, our actions and responses tend not to be objective. They are often prejudiced, colored, and conditioned by our own personal likes and dislikes, which are expressions of our vasanas. That is, subtle impressions and inherent tendencies, gathered in innumerable lifetimes. When we act prompted by our vasanas, rather than guided by the knowledge of what is right and wrong, we strengthen these likes and dislikes, which constitute the impurities of the mind. So the Vedas provide guidelines of how to conduct ourselves in daily life. Life is all about making choices. When we are ignorant about the goal of life, we end up making inappropriate choices, or in other words, violate dharma. Studying of Vedas provides us with the goal of life and means of achieving that goal. By studying the knowledge revealed in Vedas, we can clarify our goal in life, follow the means to purify our mind, and achieve the goal. So rather than vasana directed actions, it will be dharma directed actions based on what is to be done, rather than what I like to do or what I do not like to do. As long as we are caught up with raga dveshas, it is understand that they are all directed by our tendencies, our vasanas. So that is why we say raga dvesha viyukta istu. So you must be rid of raga dvesha. Step 2, perform diligently duties ordained by the Vedas. As we saw in step 1, the Vedas teach that the purpose of human life is to realize and to know the absolute truth, the absolute reality, and not just to live superficially in the world of appearances. In order to know this truth, the mind must be prepared and purified. Therefore, the first portion of the Vedas, the Karma Kanda, is meant for acquiring this purity of mind. Karma Kanda prescribes 5 types of karmas. Karmas that are to be performed and karmas that are to be avoided. All these karmas, actions, are to be done in the spirit of offering, spirit of duty. First is Nitya Karma. The daily duties, Nitya Karmas, are to be performed. Nitya Karma is done in the form of 5 yajnas, also known as Pancha Mahayajna. Yajna means offering. So there are how many yajnas? Brahma Yajna, Deva Yajna, Pitru Yajna, Manushya Yajna, and Bhuta Yajna. Brahma Yajna is prayers to Guru, Rishis, Vedic scriptures. We need to show reverence and gratitude to our Vedas and Guru. It is because of them we grow. Prayers to Guru can be performed through rituals like Pada Puja, studying the Vedas, reflecting on the teachings, and following the teachings in our life. Contribution in the form of preserving their teachings and spreading the teachings. Second is Deva Yajna, any form of worship of God, puja, rituals, visiting temples, etc. Devatas are sun, moon, air, space, water, etc., who govern our life. Pitru Yajna, prayers to parents, forefathers, and ancestors. Taking good care of one's parents is a yajna. Parents should be treated like God, and we need to serve them with the same attitude of service to God. For the deceased parents and forefathers, one should perform rituals like Tarpanam and Shraddham. Manushya Yajna. Service to humanity is also an important yajna. Service through our work, charity, teaching, etc. Bhuta Yajna. This includes service to plants, trees, the animal kingdom, as well as one's environment. Nowadays, not harming the environment in itself is a great service. One can grow trees and plants, feed cows, dogs, crows, or even keep a bowl of water for thirsty birds. All these help in ecological balance. By all means, we should resist cutting trees and try to do our part in refraining from polluting the atmosphere by exercising control on our consumption of gas, electricity, and various usage of gadgets, etc., in our daily life. So much is packed up into the Nitya Karma. So, 5 types. Panchamahayajnas. So they are Brahma Yajna, Deva Yajna, Pitru Yajna, Manushya Yajna, and Bhuta Yajna. The second one is Naimitika Karma. Occasional duties like marriage, Upanayanam, that is thread ceremony, Shraddha, or Tarpanam. That is Naimitika Karma. Then third is Kamya Karma. Reduced desire prompted actions. Desire prompted actions are those that are done for personal fulfillment, like accumulating excess wealth, working for name and fame, any egoistic activities that are done for selfish reasons come under Kamya Karma. Nishiddha Karma. These are karmas that are to be avoided. All adharmic actions are to be avoided. Any choices or actions that transgress universal values like hurting others, cheating, etc., are to be avoided. Prayaschitta karma. If one has transgressed dharma, they can perform prayaschitta karma or actions done for atonement. One can follow prayaschitta karmas prescribed in the scriptures, or one can choose actions like chanting, japa, going to temple, performing rituals, etc. as atonement. Why should we perform all these karmas and panchamahayajnas? Vedas teach us to live a life of dharma. Our life is supported by other human beings, other animals, devatas, our forefathers, and sages or saints. All these 5 types of beings contribute to our life. It is our duty, in turn, to contribute to other beings. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita teaches that those who don't contribute back and only consume are like thieves. All of life is interconnected and interdependent. So we need to play our role in contributing back. We are recipients of others' services. So we should participate in the spirit of returning that favor. So, what are the 5 types of beings that contribute to our life? Human beings, other
Deva,
animals,
oh,
devatas, our
Devata, Guru,
forefathers, and
yeah,
sages.
yeah. Pitru, okay, Brahma, Pitar,
Deva
uh,
Yajna,
Deva, oh, Brahma Yajna, and then Deva Yajna, then Pitar, uh,
Manushya
Bhuta,
Yajna,
Manush, what is Manushya Yajna? What did we do?
for
Okay,
humans, for the
Father,
society,
son, yeah, okay, for the society. The
and
Bhuta
Bhuta
Yajna
Yajna.
is for the plants, animals, and other beings. Mm.
So, realizing that we are interdependent. So,
Yeah,
therefore, not out of selfish motive, but out of the sublime thought of contributing back and not harming them. Not harming the environment also amounts to Bhuta Yajna.
yeah. Mm.
What happens if we don't contribute back and only fulfill our personal needs and wants? Vedas say that when we don't perform our duties, we are violating dharma and will incur sin. Sin means papa or unfavorable situations. Papa is that which inhibits our true nature and joy in life. This does not mean that we should perform our duties out of fear. The idea is to understand the big scheme of things and realize our role. Teachings of Vedas is what we sow is what we reap. So, this is the second step. First step was study the Vedas daily. Second step is perform
Activities ordained by
diligently,
the way.
yeah,
Mm.
perform all the duties that are diligently, that are ordained by the Vedas. And the Vedas tell us to do our Nitya karma,
Mm.
Naimitika karma. That is basically that is prescribed in the Karma Kanda.
Nitya
These
and
are the
Naim.
duties.
Yeah, Nishidha karma, which is avoid karma.
Yeah, avoid karma to be all adharmic actions.
Right. And Kama karma is reducing our desires anyway. So uh,
Mhm.
that's not going to help us either. Prajita karma is another one. Okay. Last one. Right.
Nitya, Naimitika, Kamya,
Is
Nishidha,
Nishidha
and Prayaschitta.
karma. So five yajna and five karmas. Everything comes in five.
So, what happens if we don't do it?
Incurs in.
And what is this sin? It is nothing but our the vasanas, tendencies that tend to influence our way of life, our how we respond, react to people around or
Yeah.
situations around.
That's more like selfish, right? Like not
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
other thing. So that's vasanas.
Because what we sow is what we reap.
Mm.
So if we are doing only selfish actions, that is what we will develop. Those are the vasanas that we develop. So we'll be getting more and more deeply rooted in our likes and dislikes. Will be difficult to come out of it. But how to purify the mind? What is the ultimate goal of life? Is to realize the truth. For that, you require a purified mind. And unless you rid yourself of raga dveshas, your mind is not purified. So, therefore, study of the Vedas, therefore, doing our duties diligently as prescribed. What is to be done is to be done, not what I like to do or what I don't like to do.
So in the step 2, there are so many different things, right? One is about that yajna part, and then the karma part.
Yeah, there are 5 karmas that are prescribed by the Vedas, and
And
the
then the
Nitya karma has 5 yajnas under it.
oh yeah, under the nitya karma.
Correct.
Right, right.
Then step 3 is dedicate all actions, duties as worship of the Lord. In step 2, all the duties were performed as obligations. In step 3, going one step further, all actions or duties are performed as an act of worship of the Lord. Going another step further and doing all actions as acts of worship, we are usually worshipping our ego. We are constantly planning how to gratify our ego, concerned about our security and happiness. If we observe our mind, we will know whom we are worshipping, our ego or God. We are constantly focusing on my needs, my security, my happiness, my interest, etc. Replace all these thoughts or attitudes with worship of Ishvara. Gradually, this will result in turning our minds towards Ishvara. Whatever is happening with respect to Ganesh Chaturthi all across is worshipping the ego. Who has got the bigger Ganesha, etc. Whatever. It is only a show of might and strength, and it's actually maybe not everyone is worshipping their ego, but that is how it appears. Right? There's so much of competition. Who's got who's got the biggest one? So looking within and saying, are we worshipping our ego or are we worshipping the Lord? And also, so beautifully, just give me a second. We can share our thoughts.
Mm. I'll read the step 3 one more time to achieve. In step 2, all the duties were performed as obligations. In step 3, going one step further, all duties performed as obligations. The third one is going one step further. All actions, duties are performed as an act of worship of the Lord. Okay. Going another step further and doing all actions as act of worship. Acting as an act of worship and then as act of worship. We are usually worshipping our ego. Oh, okay, this is what shit. We're usually worshipping our ego. We are constantly planning how to gratify our ego, concerned about our security and happiness. If we observe our mind, we will know whom we are worshipping, our ego or God. We are constantly focusing on my needs, my security, my happiness, my interest, etc. Replace all these thoughts, attitudes with the worship of Ishvara. Gradually, this will result in returning our mind towards Ishvara. So, you worship, but then you act as a worship. I mean, you do all the actions as the worship of the God. But you have to understand whether what you're worshipping, like your ego versus God. Like if we are praying for our own needs, it sounds like we are only worshipping for this reason, right? That's why there's worshipping ego. I was wondering what is worshipping ego. So you just simply worship that God will take care of everything. Who is the Lord? Why should I worship God? Nice question.
Yeah, so dedicate all actions, duties as worship of the Lord. See, we can do all these out of fear, out of obligation. But the third step is taking it up to one step further. You're doing it out of as a devote as a worship of the Lord. So the bringing in the aspect of bhakti over there, right? You can just do it mechanically. You can do it out of fear. If I don't do this, this will happen. That is coming out of fear. Whereas when you're doing it out of
Doing,
love,
yeah, with
out of love for
interest.
the girl.
Yeah. And also you enjoy doing it without
Yeah,
any complaints like, oh, I have to do this or
correct.
kind of stuff. Oh.
So
So go ahead.
go
Again,
ahead.
worshipping is means that all rituals.
Rituals are to be done. That is the duties that are ordained.
Ordained.
But how you do it,
Mm.
the attitude with which you do it, are you doing it purely out of love for the Lord as an act of worship? Are you worshipping Lord or are you worshipping your ego?
Mm.
See, I will read this one more time. In step 2, all the duties were performed as obligations. In step 3, going one step further, all actions, duties are performed as an act of worship of the Lord. Going another step further and doing all actions as act of worship. We are usually worshipping our ego. That is why people, when they say, if you remember Sandhya Vandanam, after Upanayanam, it is said it is not for pradarshana, it is for swadarshana. When you're doing your Sandhya Vandanam, you don't go out and announce to the whole world, oh, I'm doing my Sandhya Vandana. It is not for pradarshana, it is not for exhibiting. It is for swadarshana. It is for looking within and realizing who you are. Similarly, whatever worship we do, whether it's nitya karma, bhuta yagna, any of the karmas that are ordained over here, all these 5 karmas, nitya, naimitika, kamya, nishiddha, prayaschitta, you don't go and pump up your ego by doing them. If you're doing seva, if you're doing manushya yajna, you don't go and do a rajasic seva to get name and fame. You do because it is required for you to do. And yes, if you have to mention it, mention. Because why all our seva projects and everything, Gurudev says you'll have to bring up and express it out. It is not to gain those likes and number of people watching it. No, it is to ensure that you sow the seeds of these charity in the minds of people, because otherwise in the news there's so much of negative stuff going on. Good actions, people are generally quiet, they don't mention anything. So therefore it's because the voice of good is subdued. It is in order to make the voice of good be heard, he says you have to express yourself. Whatever you do, you may make a mention of it, but again, what attitude are you doing it with? Do you want to do it because you want praise, or you're just doing it out of joy? So that apart, when you're doing all these actions, how are you doing it? we are usually worshipping our. So again, I'll read the last paragraph over here. What happens if we don't contribute back and only fulfill our personal needs and wants? Vedas say that when we don't perform our duties, we are violating dharma and will incur sin. Sin means papa or unfavorable situations. Papa is that which inhibits our true nature and joy in life. This does not mean that we should perform our duties out of fear. See, this is not what Vedas say, right? The idea is to understand the big scheme of things and realize our role. Teachings of Vedas is what we sow is what we reap. Then comes third step, dedicate all actions, duties as worship of the Lord. In step 2, all the duties were performed as obligations. Step 3, going one step further, all actions, duties are performed as an act of worship of the Lord. Going another step further and doing all actions as act of worship, we are usually worshipping our ego. We are constantly planning how to gratify our ego, concerned about our security and happiness. If we observe our mind, we will know whom we are worshipping, our ego or God. We are constantly focusing on my needs, my security, my happiness, my interest, etc. Replace all these thoughts or attitudes with worship of Ishvara. Gradually, this will result in turning our minds towards Ishvara. As long as we are satisfying our ego, our desires, sense pleasures, it is we are worshipping our ego. But when we are doing things that are to be done based on your role, responsibility, time, and situation, then you do it with this attitude, not out of fear, but out of pure love for the Lord, then you're worshipping the Lord through your action. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha. And manmanabhava madbhaktaha madhyajimam namaskuru. So all this was taught to us in Gita, where you dedicate all your actions. That is the first step of being a karma yogi, is you do what is to be done and offer everything as a yajna, offer everything as worship. So we need to change our thought process. Not
Basically, we are, say, for example, we are cooking, right?
Mm.
In the sense that's it's an offering to God, meaning like or as doing cooking as worship of the God means you do it with I would say like interest, meaning I mean with care and love, that kind of stuff, rather than oh, why you have to do this, or all this negative emotions in your mind and doing it. Is that how it works, like as a worship?
Correct. Correct. You're
Yeah.
doing it out of love. You're realizing your role. See again,
So
I
every work action that we do it consciously, then it becomes worship of the Lord, rather than you are doing without um, any
and
thought.
and you're correct. And you're doing it out of joy, not
Right.
for joy.
Out of that, right.
It is not like, for example, you're cooking. It's an
Mm,
action, right? You're
right.
doing your cooking, you're fulfilling your role.
Right.
There are two sets of people. Say one person is doing it out of joy. He or she is worshipping. Doing that action is an act of worship. Whereas if you're doing it for joy, you want to cook, you cook. and then you want people to praise your cooking. So what is it happening? You're gratifying your ego. You're
Ego.
worshipping your ego. You're doing it as an act of worship. You're doing it as an act of service to people at home, to whoever you want the cooked food to be eaten. It doesn't matter how, whether they praise, not praise. You've done it willingly and you've done it unconditionally.
So whatever we are doing, we have to do it out of joy.
Out of joy. Because what we sow is what we reap. Because if you're doing it for joy, you're leading to vasanas. Selfish vasanas will continue to embed your consciousness, one after the other, one layer after the other. As it is, we have so many layers now of those vasanas to cleanse.
I know how to get rid of that.
Yeah. Layer by layer, we have to peel off those vasanas.
One thing, at least going through this, now we know what the Shastra is telling us to do.
Correct. No? See?
Yeah.
How everything is so beautifully laced, how everything is so beautifully linked.
Right. So the third step is dedicate all actions, duties as worship.
Worship of the Lord. Who is the Lord? Why should I worship the Lord? Source of all beings, source of everything in creation is the Lord. It is because of the Lord that the whole creation is functioning. Take our mind back to Tattva Bodh, right? How is the creation? How has it started? Brahmashraya. There was only one truth in the big, not even in the beginning. There is only one truth that exists. That is beyond time, beyond space, beyond cognition, basically. So that truth, from there, because of this aspect of Maya is a pratibimb, is a reflection of this truth with all its sattva, rajas, and tamo gunas. So it is nothing but Brahman, right? So it is the Lord who gives us everything in our life. We don't create anything. We are just an instrument in the hands of the Lord. By offering all our actions as worship, we gain purity of mind. What does it mean to offer our actions as worship to the Lord? We are performing actions every day, but those actions are meant for personal fulfillment. Converting all those actions as offering, Ishwararpana Buddhi, it becomes worship. Offering our actions as a service to people around us. Also, when we receive the results of our actions, if we have acceptance, prasada buddhi, it becomes worship. Usually, we get excited or depressed when we don't get the results we want. By having prasada buddhi, we recognize the Lord as the giver of the results. Whatever actions we do, they need be following dharma and should not transgress dharma. When we follow dharma, we are worshipping the Lord, since Lord is in the form of dharma.
Yeah. Can you kind of read it again one more time?
Yeah, I will read. So who is the Lord? Why should I worship the Lord? The source of all beings. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam. So the 46th verse of chapter 18. The source of all beings. It pervades in and through creation. Source of all beings, source of everything in creation is the Lord. It is because of the Lord that the whole creation is functioning. It is the Lord who gives us everything in our life. We don't create anything. We are just an instrument in the hands of the Lord. By offering all our actions as worship, we gain purity of mind. What does it mean to offer our actions as worship to the Lord? We are performing actions every day. Just 1 second. So we are performing actions every day, but those actions are meant for personal fulfillment. Converting all those actions as offering, Ishwararpana Buddhi, it becomes worship. Offering our actions as a service to people around us. Also, when we receive the results of our actions, if we have acceptance, prasada buddhi, it becomes worship. Usually we get excited or depressed when we don't get the results we want. With the example you were talking about is cooking, right? Supposing you have cooked and it has not come out as you expect it to come. So are you able to take it as prasada buddhi, with prasada buddhi, and not get depressed because it didn't turn out the way you wanted, or get too excited because it came out well?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
By having prasada buddhi, we recognize the Lord as the giver of the results. Whatever actions we do, they need be following dharma and should not transgress dharma. So you can't commit a crime, an adharmic action, and say, oh, I'm doing it with Ishwararpana buddhi and I'll take whatever comes as prasada buddhi, right? So what we're talking of, we should be clear in our mind. Whatever actions we do, they have to be following dharma, right actions that are universally. That is what is again dharma? What you want others to do to you, you do to them. So when we follow dharma, we are worshipping the Lord, since the Lord is in the form of dharma. What do I gain by worshipping the Lord? By tuning the mind towards Ishvara, we gain a lot. Not only will the Lord take Lord care of our needs, but we will also gain a steady, composed mind that will be prepared for self-knowledge. Isn't it? Supposing we were to do only egocentric actions. So supposing the outcome is not as expected, then your mind is total upper stories taken up by that negative emotion. Depressed. Oh, I didn't get what I want. This did not happen. And you go through the negative spiral. Supposing it was what you expected to happen or more than what was you expected to happen, and you're very elated about it. And then your mind is occupied by a lot of egoistic thoughts. You're self-glorifying yourself. In either case, your upper story is not available, it is not composed, it is not calm or steady, which is required for pursuing self-knowledge. Therefore, look within and say, who are you satisfying? Who are you worshipping? Your ego or the Lord? And then again, who is the Lord? He is the creator of the whole universe, who runs in and through every aspect of creation. Whether it's your friend or your foe, person who is conducive, non-conducive, whoever. I think we'll stop here today. We did 3 steps today. So we can quickly recap. So first was what? Study the Vedas daily. It's not once a week, not once a month, but daily. That implies that we need to incorporate the Vedas, whatever the Vedas teach, in our daily life. Right? Otherwise, what will happen if we don't do it?
If we don't do it, then we can get sin on the purpose.
And what is sin?
Sin is that vasanas,
Asanas.
the tendencies that
Yeah.
we develop over a number of births.
So Vedas are what teach us the way of life, right? That is they are they show us the purpose of life and how to attain it. What
Mm.
is the ultimate purpose of life is moksha.
Right.
It is
Stay
not
back.
to get name,
Mhm.
fame, so many houses, so many cars, so many whatever, whatever. That is not the aim of life.
Mm.
The aim of life is what is directed, is what is indicated by the Vedas. So, therefore, read the Vedas daily, study the Vedas. And the subject matter of Vedas, you have Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, and Jnana. Actually, Upasana Kanda is part of the Karma Kanda. Basically, two types Karma and Jnana Kanda is what we learned. But it's okay, there's another one added here, Upasana Kanda. Why are these required? Because in order to know the truth, the mind
So
needs to
while
be purified.
worshipping, my question was, Jnana Kanda is also there. So doing that also is a worship. Means what I understand like that. Is it correct? Means ritual is. I ask no that question. Ki, do we have to do ritualistic things every day? Because if we are doing Jnana Kanda, is the rituals means that Upanayan is okay. That is we are doing, but other things daily homas, yagyas that not needed. No.
Whichever
No,
form
it
of ritual,
is
right?
needed.
Whatever
That
ritual
is
you choose to do.
As long as you are a grihastha,
Mm.
because different ashramas, as long as you're in the grihastha ashrama, yes, you will have to continue. Once you take to sannyasa, then you're relieved of all these karmas.
Yeah, I think in the later chapters they will specifically say what kind of rituals is what kind of ashrama for what ashramas to be done. Like you said, the Agnihotra we read somewhere before we discussed. Yeah, that was one of the rituals for the Grahastha.
But that this does not mean you have to do all the homas and yajnas. No. Nitya
Mm.
karma. Pick up something. That's what Nana had said, right? He said,
Yeah,
pick up
Correct.
something, but do it
that is
every day.
doable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Something that you can do. Do it
Mm.
every day. That becomes nitya karma. See, when you're doing it as nitya karma, there's so much of discipline that is coming in. And as long as you're doing this, you're not doing anything else that will get you into wrong. You're not following your likes, dislikes. Because you're doing what you have committed to do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
also we read like maybe day before yesterday that as we are the evolved species, so it is by the law of the nature that we are here for doing upkara, like this body is to
Paropakara.
be,
Hmm.
yeah, this body is to be used for it is to be used for others basically. So that body because we are having so many janmas and so many we have gone through so many species, so that body concept which we are having, it remains so strong because of that. And then when we have evolved as a human being, then it then still if we are having that I notion, my body, my everything related to my uh, existence, then it is wrong. Then when once you have evolved, then it is to be for the benefit of others. This we read, I think,
Yeah,
1 to 10.
परोपकाराय इदं शरीरम ऐसे कुछ वाक्य
Yeah,
था.
yeah. So it was very beautiful, this thing. And this Karam Kanda, always had this thing that it is it is like mechanical. Initially, you are doing mechanically, but once you are doing it and you have this gyan, this like you have this knowledge, then that mechanical thing, it then starts turning into devotion, because you have that knowledge now, that of the higher consciousness. Then that mechanical thing, it starts turning devotional. So a shift comes in your mind. So that is why they're starting with the Karam Kanda, like every step, the ritualistic, the worship, and the Gyan Kanda. So that is why that series is there. Okay, you do the ritual and then you do the worship. Your faith gets stronger, you get results, and then when it is associated with the Gyan, so it becomes all the more stronger. That faith deepens. So it's our Vedas are so systematic. I was just wondering, like when we were reading. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so we don't need to look down upon rituals.
Yeah,
We should understand the meaning why they are there. Come from a space of understanding rather than, denouncing rituals. That is why they have a place. Once you are enough mature in your mind, then automatically they will, like, you'll start feeling that dispassion towards them. But till such time, you'll have to continue doing.
yeah.
Not out of fear,
This is,
but
yeah,
out of love.
I was stuck in this for many years, and I was I asked Nanaji also about this, and I asked various persons why I am doing this, but they always said keep on doing. Now I understood, like, why it was said that keep on doing.
Yeah,
So it has such a deeper meaning.
it has.
Yeah.
Very nice. So we'll stop here today. I will play the Sadhana Panchakam, and then we'll meditate. Okay.
And we should not forget the Tattva Bodha. I have started like 2-3 shlokas daily, just repetitions, so that we learn it. And it's like it's happening that 2-3 shloka revise again and again. So I think everyone should keep on revising, otherwise we'll again forget. The Tattva Bodha is so important.
Maybe we can, or there's going to be an echo. Maybe we can cater one day of a week to do Tattva Bodh revision. We'll think about
Yes,
it.
we can. Like, then it can be by heart, if that is so. But yes, it will happen, because recently I started learning some Gita shlokas also. And when you recite them, whenever your mind is not occupied, or you are doing some mechanical job, and you just revise that shloka or that verse, then it you get to learn it, and it automatically, like, it flows. It's not difficult to it's only that repetition is required.
Jai Gurudev. Actually, when this is being shown, screened, follow the, I mean, this is what I did today, I'm sharing. Follow the meanings. Actually, it is so beautiful. So you're following the Sanskrit verse as well as you're reading the meanings. Thanks to Sumaji for sending such a beautiful download of this Sadhana Panchakam. Yeah. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
Meditation is accepting this moment, living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene and with a serene smile on your face. Relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Accept those parts of the body where you feel a tension. The other parts are in comfort. Other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. Total acceptance of what is now here will lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the efforts. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open your eyes.